Welcome again, listeners. Phyllis Reid Jarvis from At Ultimate Potentials podcast. Our company is called Ultimate Potentials. Really excited to have you join us in sharing this other story from one of our guests who also hails from Guyana, South America. And we have Marshall Lambert. Marshall is just a story that it will break part of your heart, but then just the way he manages his quantum moment will show you how you can actually mend and heal and repair your heart in such a way where it is whole again. And Marshall speaks from a place as a very young, upcoming, very upward moving and forward looking person who, through all odds, against all odds, was able to rise to incredible positions, managing or heading up a church as a senior pastor way before age 30, as well as holding some significant positions in the company in which he currently works. Those are all incredible and amazing things that Marshall has accomplished. The most incredible and amazing, though, that I took from this conversation with Marshall is his take on hope, and why hope with action is what really carried him through those darker times, those major quantum moments that he experienced as a young man. It's just a young child of just under age 14 years old. So please join me in sharing in Marshall's story. And here's Marshall on hope. Enjoy. Well, Marshall, what a delight to have you agree to have this chat with me. I really am looking forward to hearing more about your story and how you get to be where you are today. And for our listeners, who are you? Tell us, who's Marshall? Marshall Lambert.
Marshall Lambert. What my father said to me, the name means, well, they give me that name, the combination of two surnames, because two great men in one.
Nice. I love that. So two surnames, yes, rolling two great men in one. Who are those great men? Do you know who they are that he's referring to?
I'm not sure about Lambert, but I know the cricketer.
Okay.
Yes, great cricketer.
Yes. Is he from Antigua or?
Yes, I think he's from Antigua.
Yeah.
Great West Indies cricketer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not too sure about the Lambert, but I guess maybe it's somewhere in my genealogy.
Okay, so Marshall is the one that's a cricketer?
Well, they're both cricketers.
Oh, really? Okay.
We had an excellent cricketer from Guyana.
Nice.
Named Lambert.
Yeah, and you're Guyanese. We should let our listeners know that. Proudly so.
So probably it's from there. I never really asked them who the two persons.
You just, personally, I say just run with it.
Yeah,
Surname, two great men. It works.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
People are confused. Which one's the first name?
You know what? You're absolutely right? Because people are not sure it's two last names.
Yes. I know people who knew me for a number of years would say to me they need to check to remember what's my sister name.
For her last name, right?
And then figure out which one is my last or first name.
Oh, and then pity those who don't know your sister, right?
Yes,
Because they won't know.
They wouldn't know.
That's too funny. So what do you do, Marshall? And we're going to talk a bit about your career, your journey to where you are.
Yeah.
And, you have, at least I know, a couple of careers, professions.
Yes, I do.
Which isn't the quote-unquote norm, so to speak. And they're two very interesting roles that you play. But I want to hear a little bit about who you are outside of work and working, just...
Outside of work, I'm actually a senior pastor.
And that's kind of what I was hoping, we're going to talk a little bit about that. But outside of work, because you're still working when you're a senior pastor, which we'll touch that later on, right? What do you do for fun?
What I do for fun, I love movies.
Me too, actually. Yeah, like I really do.
I love movies. I love nature. I
Mm-hmm.
love to see new things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So even if it's just painting,
Wow.
I will enjoy it. Once it's a different scene, it's something that I'm not accustomed to.
Right, right.
I can take that in
Nice.
and look at it, and there's so much going through my mind.
Right.
I'm there.
Wow.
But there is a scene I'm there and trying to picture how it is, if it's a real location, if it's something that, in the painter's imagination,
Mm-hmm.
or if it's an actual location. Try to pitch from their point of view,
Yeah.
what they were trying to capture, what they're trying to show.
That's really intriguing.
Yeah.
Any painting yourself or ever?
If I ever did any painting?
Mm-hmm.
No, actually I can't. I'm not an artistic person at all.
Me too. I can appreciate it.
Yes.
Right,
But
but
to do it, I'd say to my children, don't ask me to draw anything.
yeah, stick. I can barely draw a
Yes.
stick person actually.
Yes.
Yeah, but I can appreciate other
Yeah.
people's work.
I appreciate colors, I appreciate combinations,
Mm-hmm.
but to actually do it myself, it's a challenge.
It's a challenge for me too, Marshall. So
Yes.
yeah, soulmates there. Very
Yeah.
interesting. So what if any? Again, I want to take you outside of your profession for just now.
Sure.
But so you love movies, you love paintings and
Nature.
nature. So do you hike, bike, walks? What do you do? How do you interact with nature?
I walk a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yes. People, even at my workplace,
Mm-hmm.
they'd say to me, sometimes someone call and then I supposed to be move from one destination to another.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm taking a little while, they assume that I'm walking.
You're walking. You're known as the walker.
Yes.
I walk a lot too. I love walking and I love nature as well.
Yes. So I love fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I prefer instead of just being in a vehicle locked up and just let me walk.
Let you
Spend some
walk,
time,
yeah.
help you to clear your mind.
Yes.
You have to see other things, know your surroundings. I can't live in a community and I don't know the neighborhood. Or go someplace and I can't find it from more than one direction. That's
Love
just
that. I love that.
yeah.
And something you said that's really, it resonates with me because that's how I use my walks outside. So I love nature, as you said. And, you know, after a busy day at work, it's one way in which I actually clear my mind. And I actually want to be by myself. I don't know how you are. Do you want to be with people or?
By myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's a time and place for people,
Mm-hmm.
but I think personally, or everyone should try and find quiet time.
I'm a firm believer in
Yeah,
that.
where they can just relax, detox.
Yeah.
Especially if you had a hard day at work.
Yeah.
I don't think, or I believe you should spend some time maybe just detox and relax yourself before you go home.
Mm-hmm.
Because something what happens, you take all those that negative energy to your home, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
before you catch yourself, your home is like your workplace.
It's like your
workplace.
workplace.
That day.
Right. Yeah. No, that's really very valuable nugget. So, and I guess if you were to walk home, it would be a great way to unwind. I call it
Yes.
unwinding or just recharging, you know, because you give so much while you're at work. And if you can't, then that quiet space by yourself is so
Yes.
important. Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with that. Totally agree. So, you know, we're chatting because I know your story a little, and I just feel, Marshall, that there might be someone listening
Okay.
who might hear your story, and maybe one little thing that you've said, just even in our little chit chat here, could be the difference between them realizing their own potential and or not. And so knowing your story, I just feel is something that really deserves to be shared or told. And again, I just really want to thank you for agreeing to do this, right? Mm-hmm. And so you're not even 40 years old.
Not as yet.
Right. So how close if you're even close to being 40.
I'm very close.
Yeah.
38, 2 years.
Okay.
2 more years.
So 38,
Yeah.
right. And a few things have happened to lead you to where you're at
Yes.
today. So one of the things that we're always interested in finding out from our guests is, we call it the shift or a quantum moment.
Okay.
So that's when a major event
Mhm.
or change happened in your life
Yeah.
that either took you down a path that, it was amazing, it was just awesome, it really helped ground you into where you are and who you are today, or pulled you away. You had to fight your way out. So I'm curious to know, what, if anything, of that nature was
Yes.
your quantum moment?
My quantum moment is actually the death of my mother.
Right.
Having your mother, especially, died at an early age, it was really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Why it was also difficult? I'm the only boy,
Mm-hmm.
and a number of years I was away from my mother. What
Okay.
I mean by that? My family moved away to the interior, to
Okay.
Northwest District, the mining
Mm-hmm.
community. So after I wrote exams, they sent me to Georgetown before my studies.
So this was in high school when you wrote the exams?
So this is at just from primary level going over to high school.
Oh, okay, so to enter into high school.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So they were up there,
Mm-hmm.
and I was in the city
Mm-hmm.
at
Mm-hmm.
my grandparents. at that
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
So when she actually died is when they came back to Georgetown. A year, maybe just less than 2 years after they came back to Georgetown.
Mm-hmm.
So to just have her after with you
Yeah.
permanently after a long time, and just having her not being there anymore, it was a difficult process.
Absolutely. So just so I understand then, when you were living in Georgetown, you were away from your mom for how many years?
About under 3 years. between
Okay.
2 to 3.
2 to 3 years. And then now she comes back to Georgetown.
Yes, came back to Georgetown at that time. They thought it was at the right time to get married, my mother and my father.
Okay. Yes.
So everything was going really well.
Mm-hmm.
You have her with you, you've been spoiled.
Absolutely. You're the only son, right? As you said, the only boy in the
Yes,
family, and
yes.
you were super special.
Yes. So everything looked real good.
Mm-hmm.
Future looked real promising.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
At that time, it's not that we were wealthy. No. That's a whole nother story. Can't get to right now.
In time.
Yes. But living there with my mother and father pooling family resources together,
Yeah.
you
Made it.
felt comfortable,
Absolutely.
secure, safe.
Yeah.
So when she got sick, we were hoping, I was really hoping that everything would be better. but
Absolutely. Yeah.
She spent like 6 weeks in the hospital. But that's what made it a little more, made it much more difficult.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's one thing when you know someone is sick
Mm-hmm.
and you know they're going to die. So they're able to give you their final goodbye. They're able to
Right.
say some of the most important things they want to say to you, give some most important advice. But in my case, she's in the hospital and visiting her morning, maybe, and
So you had some hope.
afternoon, because I had a lot of hope.
Mm-hmm.
But watching her there, and the doctors at that time couldn't figure out what was wrong with her. And it was affecting her speech.
Okay.
She can see you,
Right.
try to communicate,
Yeah.
but can't talk.
Right. Right.
So to me, that was one of the hardest things. Going there, day after day after day,
Hoping. Yeah.
hoping, and that was during the August holiday, or it's in summer. So school was out. So I would stay in town at a relative, one of my uncle, at his shopping market. So from the time I wake in the morning, I'm down there.
We're at the hospital.
We go to the hospital, then come back and stay at the shop.
Right. Right.
Help himself.
Help him right in the store. Yeah.
Yes. Then from there, go back in the middle, come back, stay there. Because it was close with me to walk from there to the hospital.
And you've been walking for a while, I can.
Yes. When I say walk for a while, some people don't want to say those things, but my shoes, you know, when you wear a shoe over and over and your feet start to blister.
My goodness.
But it wasn't a major concern.
No, that was the least of your concern.
Least of my concern. Because I just wanted my mother to be at home and well. So she was in hospital but for 6 weeks. And that day I just felt, 6th of September, so late July, middle August, early September, I just felt to go to school instead of going to the hospital that day. And that's when it came when I got the news.
Oh dear.
She died. And I don't know for what reason. She was buried on my sister's body. So every time my sister's body comes home, it's bittersweet.
Oh dear. Yeah. So what happened? I mean, that losing someone, I mean, as you said it beautifully, a mother, right? So when you look at mothers, I'm not sure if you can't put, you just can't really put an amount. It's just so huge,
Exactly.
right? That you can't quantify it.